Thanks for stopping by. I'd like to preface this video by saying it is not a knitting tutorial, but it means to have something playing in the background while you work on your own knitting project. If you're like me and really enjoy having something on while you work, sometimes the content you like is very visually engaging and you're several hours in and haven't gotten nearly as far along on your project as you would have liked to. So that's where I come in. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. Today we are working again on the jumbo magic number blanket. I was like, do I want to call it anything cool or different? But I don't think so. I mean, it is literally just that, a jumbo magic number blanket. Below you're gonna see in the description box a link to the original pattern. And I did some fuzzy math to try to make it larger, to be more like a throw for, I was gonna say a human, but for a grown-up, an adult. Gosh, not a baby. It's a baby blanket originally, but I have modified it to make it large enough for a grown-up to be a blanket for a grown-up. And that is what we're working on today. Additionally, in the description box, you're going to see a bunch of links to some minority-owned businesses that I patronize and support. So if you're interested in patronizing them as well, you're more than welcome to. I am not affiliated or sponsored by any of these, as the description box also indicates. I just want to support. So that is what that's all about. You'll also see a link to the Ravelry pattern that is available for purchase. We just missed it. The month of June was all proceeds or all sales are donated to Black Lives Matter movement, but now that it's no longer June, I just have the link to the pattern specifically that's going to be our knit along for August. It's the Knit the Family pattern. So if you'd like to join us in August, please consider supporting niche designs anyway, just because it is a person who has some cool stuff. So if you are new, we are working on this one. It's KFB. Basically, you're increasing by 1 stitch every row, and this marker here, this orange marker, you probably can't see, but there's a little ring here that's letting me know that from this ring to the end is about 100 stitches. It's probably off by a few, but give or take it's around 100 stitches here, and I need to have this at least double before I start to think about adding my straight pattern. So we have a long way to go. I can't stop yawning. I think it's because I'm actually very warm in here, and okay, it's kind of weird. It's like if I'm way too warm or if I'm way too cold, my body is just like, you should just sleep. Just sleep through your uncomfortable feeling right now, and I think that's what it's happening. So I am just trying to make myself as comfy in here as I can. I'm like propped up on one of my extra fuzzy pillows. I'm leaning to the side. I'm trying to like lean toward the fan, and then if the breeze decides to come through the window, and I have some breeze, but it's not. Even though the window's open, I never get a breeze in this room, and it's the weirdest thing. Almost dropped a stitch. So how are you guys doing? I'm gonna be off on Friday, and I'm happy because the Independence Day of America, 4th of July as it is known, is on Saturday. And because it's on a Saturday, my job is observing it on, I almost dropped my yarn. We're observing it on Friday. But even though we are, I'm just gonna see what happens. I obviously can't go to any cookouts. I'm honestly kind of debating on even if I really want to celebrate. I haven't in a long time, and the more I am learning about my identity and my history, I really don't think I should. But I'm all for having a day off, that's for sure. So, some other news I have is that I got an email from the organization that is running the yarn crawl that I participated in last year. If you are new here, last year in August, I want to say it was in August. Oh my gosh. I'm leaving that in. In August, I went to my largest populated city in my area and participated in a yarn crawl. I was up early. I had the day off. I had to do an errand, and then I just started on this yarn crawl. And I visited 8 yarn shops in one day, all via public transit, and I was literally out from about 7 in the morning until after midnight, when I took the last train I could to get back home, as soon as I visited the last shop that closed at like 10 that day. So I got in around 9, and yeah, it took me that long to get home after visiting that shop, I think. And I spent a lot just on transit, so I'm happy that I got the newsletter announcing that they're gonna do it again, but it's gonna be pretty much virtual, where you can participate in all the games and raffles, but the shops will allow you to buy online for the same discount that they offered during the yarn crawl. I was like, cool. That'll be fun because, one, it'll save me money because I won't have to spend so much on public transit, and even more because I said last year that I was hoping this year I could spend more days, but instead of trying to cram all 8 and like a couple of they had like different regions broken up into areas of the surrounding suburbs as well as the immediate metropolitan area, and just going to a couple of those took so much time and money. But now, with it being virtual, I can use that money I would have spent on traveling to the further away ones to just buy online. So I'm very excited, very, very excited. Of course, they all have like their own patterns for the event, and they have special raffle prizes and things. So I think for July, instead of buying what I was gonna buy for my yarn purchase, I had a list of some things I wanted. Now that I know that some of the places I was going to buy from are going to be participating in this event, I'm just gonna wait. That is so unflattering. I am sorry. I am just... my body is tired. And it's so strange because I don't feel sleepy. I had enough sleep. But like I said, I think it's because of this weather is making me drowsy. But anyway, I'm very excited that I can still participate, because that was one thing I was on my mind earlier. It was like, are they even gonna do it this year, or how? If they do, how is it gonna be like this? And then there's this really big convention, about yarn that usually happens around the same time as the yarn crawl. So I don't even know if the convention is going to happen. I know they had said they were going to postpone it this year, but that was like, we're going to postpone it until like September, but that's just right now until we find out later what we can do, because if we're not open, like our state isn't open yet for anything larger than a small event, then I don't think they're going to be able to do it at all. So I wonder. But if I just do the if I just do the local yarn crawl type event, I think I'll be okay, because I really haven't, at least at this point, I haven't really made a big dent in my collection. And in fact, I've added to it, and I believe I've said several times that I wasn't going to be doing that anymore, but who am I kidding? I can't resist a pretty yarn, but I feel like I'm more project oriented. Like, if I buy the yarn, I have been identifying what I'm going to use it for, like what I have in mind, so I don't just buy it and like, what am I going to do with this now? So like the hooked yarn that I bought, I'm going to make a blanket out of that, and the bunch of yarn that I bought for the Knitterati project, that's also a blanket with a bunch of different squares that are going to be used. And I bought yarn for socks that I will be making as gifts this year. So it's all in there. Everything has a purpose now. And then if I have extra, then I can do fun things like the Knit the Family pattern. Speaking of Knit the Family pattern, I got a couple catalogs in the mail this week, or this week Saturday I'm filming this, last week the day you see this video, so it means it's time for another perusing pattern books episode to be recorded very soon. And I'm excited because I haven't looked through them at all this time. Some of the pattern books that I showed you guys before, if you check out the Perusing Pattern Book playlist, you'll see some things that either I looked through already and flagged, or some things that I hadn't yet. But these I didn't look at all. I just put them in a basket because I'm like, alright, I know I'm going to look at these with you guys, so I will not spoil myself by taking a peek before we film together. So let me know in the comments. I'm just thinking in my head, because the person I'm knitting this for is my 4th grade teacher. She and I are I'm well beyond being a 4th grader, but when I was a 4th grader, she was my teacher. And we got in touch in the last 5 years, 6 years or so, and reconnected. And we write each other. She's my pen pal. And I want to make her this. But I'm thinking of the last time I wrote her, it's been a while. I'm due to write her a letter. And I'm due to write another friend a letter too. And I keep thinking about it, and I keep mentioning it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to write them a letter, and I just don't. But it seems like every time I want to, something else changes in my life, and I'm like, oh, I should wait, because now I have like this new thing to add to this letter. And then time passes, and I'm like, okay, now it's a good time. And then something else comes up, and I'm like, oh wait, no, now I really gotta wait. And yeah, kind of strange. But let me know. Do you have pen pals? Do you have people that you write to, or are there people that you kind of check in with every now and then, and you might not be pen pals, but you send them a "how are you doing" text, or you might call them on the phone, or chat with them online sometimes just to catch up. I have a few like that where I'm not like super involved in their daily lives, but we do like to check in with each other and see how we're doing. Hmm. Hmm. You know, my battery's almost gonna die. Pooh. This wasn't a very long video at all, but I don't want to splice it. I know, that's so bad of me. But I will say we will call it a day for this one, and I'll see you around. It's kind of hot too, so I think I'm just gonna stop. I'll probably film some more tomorrow and check in with you guys then to finish out the week. But for now, yeah, let me know. Do you have people you keep in touch with not on a regular basis? Do you write them? Do you message them online? Send them a text? How do you check in with folks that you might not be super close with, but you still want to keep that relationship going? I'd love to know what you do in the comments. And with that, I'll catch you later. Have a good day wherever you are, and I'll see you soon. Bye!